If you could ask Christians questions, what would you ask? Would you have a long list, or would you have just a few? Or would you, as I do, have one? Just one. I only need one, and they'll never be able to answer it. Atheists answer a ton of questions from the religious, be they Christians or Muslims or pretty much any other flavor. And they are, without exception, dishonestly put together, an attempt to evangelize, not an exchange of ideas so that we can better understand each other. They don't want to understand us, and we understand them far too well. But it got me thinking, and somebody asked me what questions I would ask to Christians. And this can go for any religious group. And I have one and only one question for them. And it's a question that they're never going to be able to answer. Very recently, I did a video called 36 Questions for Atheists, where I addressed 36 questions aimed at the non-religious by a theist who was desperately trying to, quote-unquote, catch us so that he could preach his mind poison in our direction. If you look through my playlist, you're going to see dozens of similar videos. Theists who aren't really curious about our responses, but they think that if they can herd us into answering a certain way, they will have an opportunity to laugh at us and open us up to their ridiculous religious beliefs. And it never works that way. Never. Because the religious never take the opportunity to respond to our answers intelligently. They don't care. Their tactic fails, so they just shrug and go back to preaching to the choir. Because that's really all they care about. But there is a question that I have for them, and it's the only question that really matters. Now, a lot of people will know what that question is. I've made other videos on it in the past, but it is something that it's good to keep bringing up because it reveals the ultimate failure of religious thinking. So my question is, where is your evidence for anything that you believe? Any of it. Where is your evidence? Because absolutely everything else rests on the answer to that single question. How do you know any of the things that you claim to know? Why do you believe any of the things that you believe? Where did you get your information? And how did you objectively test it to see if it's true? Nothing else matters until they can prove that they have some kind of rational basis in fact. Because we all know they don't. They don't have anything. Nothing at all. Well, it says so in the Bible. So what? Who cares? You have to prove that the Bible is true. Have you done that? Have you even tried? No, of course you haven't. How did you test the specific supernatural claims in the Bible to see if they were reasonable? I don't know, but God. Well, how do you know God is real? Where is your objectively verifiable data? I don't care how you feel. I care what you can prove, and you can't prove a damn thing. If all you have is feelings, go stand in a corner like a 6-year-old until you can develop some critical thinking skills. Your feelings don't matter. Nobody gives a damn about your feelings but you and the immature children that follow you around. Because that's really what it all comes down to. It's why we're not impressed with the religious one bit. We expect evidence. They have nothing. And they know they have nothing. I'm sure you've run into the, how can you ask for evidence for an immaterial God? Well, how do you know there is an immaterial God? This is just a claim. It means no more than, well, of course there's no evidence for immaterial, universe-creating pixies that I've just arbitrarily defined as beyond any conceivable evidence. The stupidity behind this is just mind-blowing. How they can't see just how dumb all of this is, I don't know. It's why any debate or discussion with a theist ought to last no longer than a minute. I don't care who it is. Where is your evidence? I don't know. Okay, well, thanks for playing. Next. That's honestly the only thing we need to do. It's not going to make these irrational idiots go away, but it's going to completely discredit them in the minds of anyone with two brain cells to rub together. I don't have to waste my time asking Christians a string of questions when they can't answer the most basic question of them all. How the fuck do you know any of this shit? If you can't answer that, go away. You're just making yourself look bad. Give me the data. Don't give me excuses. Don't give me empty claims. Don't give me bald rationalizations or emotional pleas. Give me the facts and let me examine them for myself. And here's one thing I won't do. I won't take your interpretations of the facts as gospel truth. You don't get to tell me what the facts mean. I'll determine the most likely and rational explanation for myself. You've got a clear and pretty obvious emotional bias. I do not. I only care what's actually true. I care where the data leads, and wherever I end up, that's fine. If the facts prove that a God is real, I will believe in that God. If they don't, then I won't. Worship, that's something entirely different, but I've talked about that at length in the past. But we all know that the religious, they have nothing. And it's sad that they're too stupid to admit it. So, there you go, theists. That's my one question for you. Now, I don't expect to get any responses because honestly, what are they going to say? Oh yeah, I've had all of this conclusive evidence for the existence of God in my back pocket all along. Yeah, that's not going to happen, is it? Because they've got nothing. And until they get something, and I wouldn't be holding my breath, everything else they have to say is total irrelevant nonsense. None of it matters. They're every bit as nutty as the people chasing Bigfoot around. And those people need evidence too. I don't think any of it's going to be forthcoming anytime soon, do you? You're all a bunch of nutters. Go hide somewhere where the rational people don't have to hear your insane ramblings, at least until you can come back with something intelligent to say.